Good race, everybody. Nice job to Jeremy, who takes the victory with 43 points. Everyone made it well above 10 that time. Fantastic to see. Great job to everyone. Hey there, Mikey. Hey, Andrew. Glad y'all could join us. There's that next puzzle race for.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
How about that? What a race that one was. Joseph takes the victory with 45, only just squeaking it out over Ishan by 1 point. Ishan with 44. That was fantastic. Well done to Ishan and Joseph on a great race. David and Uni with a tie with 22 points each. That's fantastic. Is that a new personal best for you, David? 22 points? It was. Wow, awesome. Well done. Congratulations. That's incredible. Got a question in the chat here from Joseph, more specifically from Human Person, who looks a lot like Joseph. He's wondering what kind of books I use to improve my chess so that when you reach that level, we know what to get. I would definitely recommend, speaking of like chess levels, I think Stillman's Complete Endgame course. I know I've talked about this one before, but that's such a good one because it tells you exactly what you need to know at your current chess level based on your rating. So that's a big one. I'd also recommend Weapons of Chess. That's a really good book. Um, those are really the two main ones that I'd recommend. But as I read more books, I'll keep you updated on the ones that I think are really good. And if anyone else has any book recommendations that you think are really good books, feel free to put those in the chat. Ishan's so close to a high score, just one away from it. Fantastic.
10,
All right, here we go.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Wow, Jeremy with 63 points. Unbelievable. So that's 2 wins for Jeremy tonight. That is absolutely phenomenal. 63 points. Safe to say it was going to be tough for anyone to beat that. Joseph made it to 50, which is amazing, but not quite 63. Wow. Amazing victory for Jeremy. That's right, Active Pieces by Jay Bonin. That's the book that we're going through this summer. Definitely some good tips to come out of that one too. Thanks, Joseph. And I think tonight's lesson is a really interesting one. It's about offering a draw and when to do that. And I think it's really interesting, some of the psychology. I bet most of us have probably never had a chess lesson about offering draws and all the ideas that come with that. But I think it's really interesting. That's what we'll be learning tonight and tomorrow night. I mean, not tomorrow, Thursday night. Here we go. Welcome, Colby. Glad you could join us.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And it's Joseph with another victory, 50 points again, and this time it's enough for the victory. Well done to Joseph. Very nice win. Uni and I tied with 37 points each. That's fantastic. Ishan makes it above 30 as well, 33 points. Everyone made it to 10 or higher. That's wonderful to see. Here's the next link. Doesn't happen often, Jeremy getting beat without breaking his mouse. We'll see if it'll keep on happening anymore. We'll see if Jeremy gets it back.
10,
And here we go.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And another win for Jeremy, 49 points. Well done. Gets a bit of breathing space from the competition in that one. There's the next link. Sometimes the puzzles are just tough. Sometimes you just, I think what it takes to get a high score is to get a big run of puzzles that are a bunch of themes that you know really well. And sometimes you get just the opposite. Sometimes you just get puzzles that are more difficult, things that you don't know, things you're not as familiar with, things that you can't solve as quickly. If pattern recognition doesn't help you to solve them quickly, then it's tough to get a super high score and beat someone like Jeremy. Yeah, long puzzles. That can help because you get a point for every single move. So like my favorite is the ones where you push a pawn down the board and you get to push the pawn like 4 times and you get a point every single time you push. That's just really fun. So you always want to get those right. If you've got like an end game pushing a pawn, if you think maybe there's a chance to get like 4 or 5 points in one puzzle, always get those right. Take the
10,
extra time, figure it out
9,
if it's an
8,
end game that
7,
involves pawn pushing.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The big ones, winning games, blitz games, rapid games, classical games, correspondence games, solving puzzles, getting a new personal best in Puzzle Racer, Puzzle Storm, and Puzzle Streak, and getting those points, those rating points up. To earn battle points, you've got to play your games on Chess. You can't get credit for any games played on chess.com or anything else. You can earn battle points for only up to 50 puzzles per week. To earn points for puzzles, you get 0.2 points for every 5 puzzles, and in each, you get the points for every batch of 5. So if you solve 4 puzzles, for example, you don't get anything. You've got to get 5 to get points. You must solve puzzles correctly, not just attempt them in order to get points. So 5 attempts and 2 solved correctly will not get you anything. That counts as 2, not 5. On your profile, you can see this because the ones you've solved correctly are called wins. Those are the ones that earn you points. Games have to be 10 moves long to count for battle points. And this is something I've always been doing, but I've just added the reminder up here. I want to point out that variant games do not count for battle points, only standard chess games count for battle points. All right, so here we go. Week 3, battle points. The red team had an excellent week. They did a phenomenal job with 2 great victories for the team in those team battles, and the red team finished the week with 89 points in those 2 team battles, and blue team had 56. Outside of camp last week, it was a pretty even match between the 2 teams. Blue team scored 26 points outside of camp, and red team scored 27.9. So week 3, as you can tell from those numbers, was a great week for the red team. Red team earned 116.9 points last week, and blue team earned 82 points. So as of about 12 a.m. Sunday, June the 23rd, the approximate score is red team 331.8, blue team 276.8. Well done to the red team on their lead. We have 1 week left in the month of June, and then the winning team will get their prize, and then we'll start over again for the month of July. Now, let's take a look at the individual leaders. Let's see who's been stepping up big for their team outside of the camp. Red team's week 3 leaders. Number 1, Jeremy, 18.5 as usual. He finds himself on top. A lot of points for Jeremy earned last week. Well done to you, Jeremy. Number 2 for the red team is Ishan with 8.8 points. Number 3 for the red team is Mikey with 0.6 points. Well done to all of you leading the way for your team. And now let's take a look at the blue team. The blue team's week 3 leaders. Number 1 is William with 14 points. Incredible job to William. Number 2 is David. Awesome job to you, David, as well. 8.8 points coming up big for the team. Number 3 is Uni with 1.9 points, doing a lot of puzzles there, which is great to see. Now, your overall camp top 3. Number 1 in the whole camp is Jeremy with 18.5 points. Number 2 is William with 14 points. And in third place, believe it or not, we actually have an exact tie between David and Ishan with 8.8 points each. Somehow they ended up exactly tying, which is absolutely crazy in the points that they've earned outside of camp. So well done to everyone who has got their name on those leaderboards there. Yeah, Jeremy has improved his blitz. He's up. He just told me he's up to 1875, which is incredible. So here's the document. I'll put it in the Zoom chat again if anyone wants to take a look at how you can earn battle points throughout the week if you just want a refresher of that and to see the score. All right, so let's now head over to the lesson. Prize day for this week will be Thursday. Next time we meet, we'll be giving away a prize. So I'll put the link to the study in the Zoom chat here. And everyone can take a look. We're going to learn about draw offers in this lesson. When to offer a draw. Going to be really interesting. You may have never studied this chess topic before, but I think there was great value in learning these things. I think you're going to be surprised by what you learn here, and you're going to learn some very helpful tips that'll help you out with your chess in this chapter. So International Master Jay Bonin, the author of the book that we're using here, says whether you offer a draw should depend on an evaluation of the chess position, not on the past performance of your opponent. So regardless of if your opponent has been beating you or not, you should really be just looking at the chess position and the clock time, which is important too. So I would add that you should just focus on the chessboard, not your opponent's rating, when you're deciding what to do about a draw offer. So this is interesting. Good thing to know. Bonin says it is considered bad etiquette to offer a draw when you're down material, like when you're obviously getting crushed. It doesn't make much sense to offer a draw then because it's never going to be accepted anyway. I also remember Funmaster Mike from Chess Kid once said in a video that you shouldn't repeatedly offer draws to your opponent after they've been declined once, like in the same position, offering a draw again and again. It's better etiquette to make some moves, wait till the position has changed, wait until it's somewhat equal before offering a draw again. In addition to being bad etiquette, again, I'd imagine these draw offers made when you're losing never actually get accepted, so why waste the time of making them? On the topic of etiquette, I'll also point out, you may have heard some people say that it's bad etiquette to not resign when you're losing, and some opponents might get angry at you for not resigning. I disagree with all this. Different people may tell you different things, but here's my opinion. Maybe at the top level, like ratings above 2,000, which doesn't apply to anyone here, not even me. When mistakes are rare and accidental stalemates are unheard of at the very top level, okay, maybe then it could be considered disrespectful. But at every level below 2000, which is where everyone here is at, you should keep fighting because anyone could make a mistake. You know, everyone's human, it happens. You have every right to fight until the end. That's what the game of chess is about. It's not bad etiquette to keep fighting, it's a sign of a good mentality. So don't ever let your opponent bully you into resigning, telling you that you have to, or anything like that. If you think you don't have any chance, then you can resign. If you feel like there is a chance, even if it's small, I'd recommend that you keep playing. The only way to show bad etiquette about resigning, I would say, is telling someone to end the game and give up before they want to. So back to draw offers. Bonin suggests making a draw offer after making a capture. He's speaking about, in particular, I think, over the board chess. He said he thinks it's cool to like capture a piece with one hand and extend a handshake with your other hand. So if you can kind of imagine that, that's a kind of powerful way to do it. And I think there could be psychological power in doing this, which is interesting. And speaking of psychological power, Grandmaster Avatik Grigorian said in an article, he's from Chess Mood, if you've heard of that, if you're familiar with that. He's a good content creator who I really like. Strong players don't like to be rejected in draw offers. And if their opponent rejects them, they get a little bit nervous. So there is psychological power, like mental power, in rejecting a draw offer. The person who made the offer feels disappointed, they feel weaker. So you're kind of on top of the mental battle when you reject someone else's draw offer. Bonin points out that clock time is important too. So taking a draw makes a whole lot of sense in equal position if you can somehow get it. And if you have 2 minutes, if your opponent has 8 minutes. And on the flip side, if you have way more time than your opponent in an equal position, don't offer a draw. Clock time is a major advantage too. So this article from Grandmaster Avatik Grigorian is great, and I'll put it in the Zoom chat right here. Hey, David, I see your hands up. What's up? All right, hopefully that link will work for you. I can't hear you, David. I think you're muted. Feel free to type it in the Zoom chat too if you want, if you had a question. Okay, cool. No problem. So he argues that you learn more from rejecting draw offers, Avatar Gregorian does, and that means even if it means you lose some games, you should play games till the end if you want to improve. You get to play out the game against a strong opponent instead of giving in, taking the easy way out, taking the rating points, but losing the chance to play the rest of the game and learn from it. He also makes the compelling point that accepting a draw offer if you have a superior position is admitting that your opponent is better than you. Thinking that you can't win a winning position against a strong opponent is not a good mental habit. It's much better to attempt to win the game, and if you fail to win, then learn from it. Then you're more likely to win the next game. You won't learn as much about how to win the position if you end the game right there and take a draw. So to sum up, Bonin, Grigorian, and I all have the same belief about draws. Generally, if a strong player offers a draw to you when you're probably winning, when you could win, don't take it. The chance to learn is more valuable than the rating points. You know, if you learn, you may improve your actual chess skill. If you improve your rating without improving your chess skill, the rating might just go down later because you didn't actually get any better at chess. So the chance to learn is much more valuable. And there'll be more interesting draw related psychology in the coming lessons. So I'll start playing some moves in the game here. And I find this really interesting as well. Bonin says a well timed draw offer can affect the outcome of a game in counterintuitive ways. Typically, when someone rejects or refuses a draw offer, it's for a concrete reason. They think they have an advantage. Quite often, they proceed to overreact later in the game as they try to justify their earlier refusal and actually wind up losing. Truth be told, this happens more often than you might think, and it is frequently part of my strategy for when and how to offer draws. Wow, isn't that crazy? In other words, at the master level, sometimes Bonin offers draws just to mess with the opponent's head, to lure them into feeling like they have to overextend and push for the win after they decline his draw. In addition to being fascinating and crazy, this is valuable to know for yourself that when you decline a draw, it doesn't mean you have to do anything too wild or take a risk and play for the win. You don't have to immediately win the game after declining a draw. You don't have to immediately prove to your opponent that you were right to decline the draw. So don't fall for this trap. Play like usual, and don't let an opponent's draw offer and your declining of a draw offer change the way you play. So we'll go through the opening kind of quickly here. We see white claiming some space. Black does strike with c5. We see an exchange. Queens come off the board as well. White gets a pawn, but black has a development advantage. Bonin says this is a well-known gambit in which black gives up a pawn but has good compensation with that development advantage. Knight comes to attack the undefended bishop, which has to move back. Now the knight hops into a good central square, and now we see knight to f4. Now tell me in the Zoom chat, everyone, what advantages do you see for black here? I've already kind of talked about one, but what advantages do you think black has? It's a good question, Jeremy. I'm unfortunately not an expert on the Sicilian, so I'll perhaps defer you to Coach Santos or to a good book or a course about the Sicilian, maybe a Chessable, something like that. Someone who's more of an expert on the Sicilian than me. I really have not played it enough. I don't know enough about it. Yeah, no problem. Open file, that's a good point, William. The D file, the rook is on the open file. Absolutely, that's a good one. Yeah, castle. That's right. That's one of the big ones I was thinking about, Ishan, when I made this lesson here. The safe king advantage, definitely noticeable. Something that black has that white does not have. White can't even castle because going back to the one William said, the rook on the d file prevents that. So black definitely has the king safety advantage. Development, piece activity, yeah, good development, well placed pieces, I would say, and sauciness. Interesting advantage there. Never heard of that one before. But yeah, for sure. Whatever sauciness is, I bet black has it here. Development. Yep. Black is yummier than white. Interesting. Yeah, good answers there. So we see e6 coming in here from black. Bonin says this move is necessary to prevent white's minor pieces, like the knights, from coming to d5. A good principle to play stronger chess is to put yourself in your opponent's shoes. Think about what they would want to do, how they can make their position better, and then stop them. So in this case, white probably was wanting to put a knight on d5 if possible, so black thought about that and stopped him. Now we see the rooks exchange. White's not going to castle, but with the queens off the board, that's really okay. You can see that black is not about to checkmate white, and it's going to be tough to launch any kind of checkmating activity, even in the future, without the queens. Now we see c5 being played. What would black do if white defends the pawn with b3? What move does black have? This is kind of like a tactical puzzle here. Colby's an expert at eating the pieces. Very good. I hope we'll all be experts at eating the pieces when I'm done with these lessons. Jeremy's got the idea. Very good. Noticing that this bishop is on a line against this undefended knight. So the move the engine likes, knight takes f3 seems just as good, but the engine does say the best move is actually to take this other pawn, taking the c4 pawn, and then we see the bishop is attacking the knight, and this is the best way to play it for black. I'm curious what happens if knight takes f3. Then we see best move is knight to b5. White retains an advantage, simply saves his knight, and this is somehow better for white. Knight comes in like this. So back to the game here. We'll continue through it. And now this is an interesting move. Black is leaving his knight undefended to attack the undefended white bishop on d4. If white takes the knight, black would get the bishop pair advantage and can win the c5 pawn next with his rook. So it's a good move by black. White smartly avoids that. Knight to b4 check comes in. King to b1. Knight to a3 check by black. And now Bonin, as black, offered a draw with this move. And notice that he's offering the draw while he seems to have the initiative. No doubt, though, he calculated and made sure that he isn't actually winning before making the draw offer. So he made sure he doesn't actually have a really strong attack. But at the moment that maybe it looks like he's got a good initiative, a good thing going with active pieces, at that point he offers a draw, hoping to convince the opponent to take it. Now white declines the draw. If you're wondering, Stockfish prefers white by about half a pawn now, so good decision by white to avoid the draw. Black does take the pawn, and now here we go. Here's what I was talking about. White wants to justify his declining of the draw offer and prove why he declined the draw, prove that he was right to do it, maybe even wanting to prove to himself why he did it, make himself feel better about it. So he goes on the attack. He's going to overextend and be over aggressive, and the draw offer kind of did that to him, perhaps. That's the power that a draw offer can have. It might actually convince your opponent to be too aggressive and overextend. If the king had taken the knight, by the way, knight to d3 comes in, discover check to the king, hitting the undefended knight on f4. So this would be good for black. Now, king takes a3 does happen. Bonin says this move from white is very ambitious. People can get too ambitious, trying too hard and pushing for a win after they've declined a draw offer, and then they make a bad decision like this one. White isn't winning a piece because of this discovery, and he takes the pawn. He simplifies further, continuing to make trades, and now black comes out ahead by a pawn. And now, as we see the game continue, black does have an advantage, I believe, here. And rook to c5, activating. Even though black's up a pawn, he doesn't want to get passive. Still trying to make the rook active, but he gets kicked right back to c8. Safety sometimes does require your pieces to stay active from a distance. And in this case, it's completely okay. Rooks are great long-range pieces, and they don't have to be physically close to their targets. They just need to be on the same line. So the rook is fine back here. h5, and now e5. Now black finds a new way to activate one of his pieces. That bishop was blocked by pawns before, and e5 is a super move because it even frees up e6 for the previously bad knight. So perhaps after the bishop moved, maybe the knight can come in to e6. Previously, the knight was having really no fun at all on g7. So big improvement. And now knight to e6 happens. And now we see the knight hopping into action, knight to c5 check. And it looks like black got himself some new and improved chess pieces. They all look much better. And now Bonin says black will simply win this pawn, and black has invading pieces. Now here's the fun thing. Tactics puzzle. If king to a3, what can black play here? Put it in the Zoom chat if you know it. Bit of a challenging one. What move is there? Checks, captures, and threats, everyone. What does black have here? Very nice. Jeremy and William, well done. Solving this one pretty quickly. And Joseph and David, excellent. Good to see so many people getting it. Not the most obvious solution with it being a sacrifice, but always good to look at those checks first. Well done to everyone who solved this one. B4 check. King's got nowhere to go that doesn't end up getting forked by the knight. Either way, the knight's coming here, and whether the king goes to b2 or b4, simply black will win the bishop, no matter what white does. So there you go. Now we see knight takes e4 check, and this is actually a mistake by Bonin because white has the chance now to centralize the king with king to d4. Bonin and Stockfish both agree that bishop takes g4 here, just taking this free pawn was better. Take the pawn while keeping the threat of moving the knight with this discovery to the king. That's a valuable strategic idea. Don't waste your discovered check on a move that doesn't give you much. You want to keep that threat. So king b2 instead is played by white instead of king to d4, and this is another mistake, this time by white. You should centralize the king into endgame when you can, as long as you know it's safe. Sometimes you don't want to like walk into a mating net, but in this case, king d4, it's not really a mating net. It was completely safe, but white missed the chance to centralize the king, and black remains on top. Active pieces come in handy a lot of the time when they're That's part of the logic behind knights before bishops, in case you've ever wondered why people say that. I think part of the reason is that knights generally have fewer good development options than bishops do. Generally, you often want to put it to the same square on its first move. And so it's wise to wait till you know the best square for a bishop before you move it. And that's not obvious where the bishop should be right from the beginning. You can't really tell. So it's good to wait if you're not sure where a piece is best placed and make a move that you're sure about instead. An easy way to remember this, make the easy decision first when developing. So we see a few more moves here. And now bishop to a6, pinning this fianchettoed bishop here. And I think it's a strong idea because, as Bruce Pandolfini teaches in Weapons of Chess, a favorite chess book of mine, it's good to trade off the opponent's fianchettoed bishop, which is often a key defender of the king. The castled fianchettoed position is weak without it. However, in this case, Bonin says that this knight to c5 move is the reason for bishop to a6. He sees the chance for a tactic, and it's not an obvious tactic. It's a multiple move long tactic, so not an easy one to spot. He gives up the knight. It looks kind of crazy, but are you starting to see why he did it? Bishop takes, king takes, and now the queen comes in. The knight is undefended, and the king has no choice but to leave it. So Bonin calculated all that out and finds the combination. Very cool play by white. So we see the pawn trade, and now black does a good job here. Black stays aggressive and keeps looking for his opportunities, even as white was attacking, and he finds this move. White's best response, according to Stockfish, was just to simplify, let the queens leave the board. Bonin, as white doesn't think highly of this move that he made, he says that the weak pawns give black an edge after the trade. This pawn's on its own, so is this one. Two isolated pawns now for white. And now this rook to f6 move happens. Bonin plays rook to h3, and this activating move looks good to the human eye, although Bonin knows that it was probably not objectively correct. After playing this good-looking move, Bonin offers a draw, and his opponent accepts. He accepts the draw after this move, even though it turns out black was better in this position. Stockfish says it's minus 1.4 in favor of black, so minus 1.5 now. But Bonin says that instead of calculating the possibilities, black accepted the draw after this move. So this is interesting. Sometimes if you know you have an inferior position, it's very effective to play a scary looking move, maybe an activating move that threatens to attack something, and then offer a draw. If the opponent is afraid and doesn't want to or isn't able to calculate what might be coming, you might escape with a draw. So there you go. Hopefully that was a unique lesson about a topic that probably we haven't heard too much about, how and when to offer a draw and what to do about that. Now, let's play Kahoot. By the way, I'm going to add a point to the red team for Jeremy's puzzle racer victory, and there'll be one more point given to the winner of this Kahoot, to the team. So I'll put this link in the Zoom chat. Go ahead and either pull up a second screen if you're able to, or maybe get it on your phone or some other device if possible. That way you can see the questions and give your own answer. Click on the answer buttons, that is. Okay, no problem, Jeremy. So there's that link. Game pin, if anyone is typing it in themselves, 282-3029. So I'm expecting 9 people. Let me know if anyone is not going to join the Kahoot. And assuming I don't hear from anyone, I'll wait till all 9 people are in. Not Coach Joseph. I suspect that it is Coach Joseph, but as I've said multiple times, you just never know until the end. Thomas Jefferson. Interesting. He's lived a long time. Got 8 people. Just waiting on one more person. Okay. All right. 8 is going to be what we have. So here we go. Good luck to everyone. All right. Yep. Thanks. Here we go. All right. Well done to the 7 people who got that one right. Absolutely. The chess position, not your opponent's strength, should be a bigger factor in whether you offer or accept a draw. Time on the clock is another factor, by the way. Wow, I was gonna take a sip of my water and then like everyone finished in like 2 seconds. That was so fast. Wow. Yeah, the question reads, Couch Daniel thinks you should resign when losing out of respect for your opponent. It's absolutely false. You do not have to resign out of respect for your opponent. Game of chess is all about fighting and trying to beat your opponent, and you have every right to keep on fighting until as long as you want. Four people got that one right. Yes, that's true. It's bad etiquette to offer a draw when you're clearly losing or to repeatedly offer draws. I'll clear one thing up. I was talking in the lesson about offering a draw sometimes when you're a little bit worse. Then you're like not clearly losing. When I say clearly losing, I mean like you're down a queen or something, something crazy. Your opponent's about to checkmate you, and you offer a draw then, or something along those lines. That's what would be bad etiquette. So Kolb de Greatest takes over first place, but it's very close. It's smart to offer a draw after you capture a piece. Good job to the 6 people who got that one right. Anonymous. Good luck to me trying to guess who that is. Anonymous moves up into fourth place. Good job to the 7 people who said true. Yes, there is psychological power in rejecting a draw offer. It makes your opponent nervous. You've got the upper hand when you reject a draw offer. Question 6. Everybody got that one. Well done. Yeah, definitely that one is false. It is not smart to offer a draw in an equal position if you have 7 minutes and your opponent has 2 minutes. I'd say even if you're losing and if there's that much of a time difference, you can feel pretty good about your chances. That's a huge clock time advantage. Like if you're only down one pawn and it's not even the end game yet, for example, you've got really good chances to win that game. So don't accept a draw if your opponent is very low on time. If your opponent's low on time, you have good chances to win the game. No change in the top 5. Very quick again. Well done to 7 people who said true. Yes, you can learn and improve more from rejecting draw offers and playing out the game than from accepting them. And Kolb the Greatest reclaims fourth place. He's got a little bit of a gap opened up, but it's still less than a 1-question difference as David takes over second place. That is true, and everybody knew it. Good job. Sometimes people overextend after rejecting a draw offer to justify their decision. Good job remembering that from the lesson. Endor King. I believe probably Andrew moves up into third place. Rook endgames are often drawish. That is true. Very often, rook endgames are going to lead to a draw. Unless it's the endgame with 2 rooks against the king. That one isn't drawish. Orb the Greatest maintains a lead. So fast again. Wow, like less than a second. After you decline a draw, you have to attack your opponent, play for the win, and prove why you were right to decline it. Absolutely not. That is false. You don't have to. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. No change in the top 5 once again. Good job to those who said true. Yes, when developing, make the easy decisions first and wait to develop the pieces that you're not sure about where to place. Absolutely, that is true. Orb the Greatest maintains his lead. That one is false. Once again, bishops should be developed before knights because it's obvious from the beginning where bishops should be placed. That's very false. At the beginning of the game, you probably have no idea where your bishop is going to be best placed. That's one part of why knights come before bishops. Not Coach Joseph is in second. Anonymous is in third. Good job to 6 people who said true. Yes, it is good to trade off the opponent's fianchettoed bishop because the castled position is weak without it. Because they've moved up the pawn, they've messed up their pawn structure to make way for fianchettoing that bishop. So if you get rid of it, then the pawn structure is not the best. 2 questions left. Nicely done. 6 people got that one right. When your opponent is attacking you, you should continue looking for your opportunities, particularly checks. Just because you're being attacked doesn't mean you should not be looking for tactics and opportunities of your own. On every move, it's a good idea to look for those checks. Kolb the Greatest still in the lead. Good job to 5 people who said true. Yep, if your position seems slightly worse, it's smart to play a scary looking move and offer a draw. It's a great takeaway, and that one is true. All right, now let's see who won, who brought home the point for their team. Uni took third place. Well done. Not Coach Joseph takes second, which means fourth place. Have to confirm who this actually is, but Kolb the Greatest. Probably Colby. Is it Colby? Well done. I believe Andrew took fourth. David took fifth. Very well done to everybody. All right, Colby was Kolb the Greatest. Very nice. 52 in Puzzle Racer with the trackpad. That's unbelievable. Wow. Well done to Jeremy. All right. So, it's now tournament time. Gonna take a look here. Colby gets the point for his team. Congratulations on that. So they split the points. Red team takes the Puzzle Racer point. Blue team takes the Kahoot point. And now here's that tournament link. We'll be getting started pretty soon once everybody joins in. Yeah, 52. in Puzzle Racer with the trackpad. Unbelievable. There it is. Tournament link. Got Joseph, Jeremy, William, Ishan, Yuni, and Andrew in the tournament. Here comes Mikey and Josias. Red team seems to have more people on it tonight, although that didn't last long. Now we've got blue team joining in. It might be 5 against 5 now. Yeah, it looks like it is 5 against 5 now at the moment, and 10 people is exactly how many we should have. So I'm going to move up the tournament start time. And here we go. Tournament will be starting in 40 seconds. 5 against 5 tonight. Good luck to everyone and have fun in the battle. And let me know, by the way, if you ever manage to use any of the tips about offering draws. It may be difficult to use the tips against these people here on this chess club because now they know them too. So hopefully they won't be falling for these tricks. But against other people in an over-the-board tournament and online games against random opponents, they'd be much more effective against people who have not studied this book. So let me know if you ever get to use it and get a draw. I'd be happy to see that. So good luck to everyone. I'm glad it's 5 against 5. That means everyone should be getting a game immediately. Yeah, feel free to mute the music or whatever you want to do. Completely up to y'all. All right, board number 1. We have William with the white pieces taking on Jeremy with the black pieces. Board number 2. It's Mikey with the white pieces taking on Yuni with the black pieces. On board 3, we have Colby with the white pieces taking on Josias with the black pieces. On board 4, it is David with the white pieces taking on Andrew with the black pieces. Good luck to everyone and have fun.